a lot of people gonna think that if you question official 9/11 story, you're as crazy as the guy who thinks that the earth is flat, right? But they're not the same things. So that's the thing. I think a lot of these ideas that circulate the internet are purposely implanting these ideas, perhaps, to make legitimate researchers look like idiots. Right, this is Mike Sygula, truththeory.com. Let's talk about conspiracy theorists. It's such a funny term, you know. It's being used a lot to stigmatize people, to ridicule people. Just let's analyze this for a second, right? Who is a conspiracy theorist? A conspiracy theorist is someone who basically is questioning some kind of well-established opinion, or questioning some kind of narrative, right? And very often, if you look at the history of, let's say, all the declassified stuff from intelligence agencies, they've been doing a lot of dodgy shit, right? They've been, MK Ultra, for example, mind control experiments, Operation Norwood. That was, not sure if you heard about it, but it was a proposed attack on civilians in the US by American government to justify invasion on Cuba. That didn't happen, wasn't approved, but that was on their minds, a couple of decades ago. So if you look at the history, of course there is plenty of conspiracies that were actual facts. There is tons of that. So why shouldn't we question official narratives if we know from history that governments, corporations, individuals can deceive us? And it's been happening for thousands of years, with no exceptions, to nation, to government, corruption. All the time something comes out, right? So it's very actually sane and very healthy to question things, to not believe everything that you hear on the mainstream news. We learned that in the US, for example, most media is controlled by a handful of corporations, and if they want to impose some kind of point of view, they can do it very easily.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories as they are true without checking facts first.
So the thing is that, I believe that this term is being used on purpose, so people do not question things, do not dig into these things. Because in a way, think about what happens now. You have, if you start looking at something and you're going to be called conspiracy theorist, then what happens? You're being ridiculed by others. So a lot of people won't even bother to research something because they don't want to be associated with this term. They don't want to be called conspiracy theorists. And that, in a way, you have this herd mentality where we police each other, and a lot of people won't even bother to investigate something controversial because they don't want to be looked at as lunatics or as crazy. And that's very, very, very sophisticated and very clever technique that can be used to hide all sorts of lies, all sorts of things that are happening, right? And obviously, there are some really pretty bizarre ideas out there. I would say, to me, like the flat earth concept completely, seems like BS. But there are many other ones, like 9/11, for example, that, it's anyone who has done any research into it, proper research, can see there are holes in this whole story. We had Building 7, for example, third tower that collapsed on 9/11, that wasn't hit by the plane, that looked like some kind of controlled demolition. And I don't want to be getting into details here, but anyone who gonna spend a couple of weeks trying to research this subject, I think gonna see that There are loads of holes in the official story. So obviously, you know, you have some ideas that perhaps have some validity and other ones that maybe don't have any validity. But people tend to mix them. Like, you know, a lot of people gonna think that if you question official 9/11 story, you're as crazy as the guy who thinks that the earth is flat, right? But they're not the same things. So that's the thing. I think a lot of these ideas that circulate the internet are purposely implanting these ideas, perhaps to make legitimate researchers look like idiots, like some kind of lunatics. So think about it. Think about, you know, how this is being used. I personally don't care if you can call me a conspiracy theorist or not. I'm a critical thinker. I do not buy into everything that I hear on the news. I do my own research. You know, I like to dig into things. I very often uncover that things are not exactly as the mainstream portrays them to be. Anyway, let me know what you think about this concept. Are you a conspiracy theorist? Tell us. Share this video and subscribe to this channel. Until next time.